All right, hello YouTube. Welcome to the end of the second round of March Insanity 2026. We are now entering the final four. We have so let's go ahead and dive on into what we saw in round two. So, of course, on the Dark Tower side, we're doing most tragic character, and then on the non-Dark Tower side, we are doing on the Stephen King side, I should say, non-Dark Tower Stephen King side, we're doing most beloved character. We did most hated character last time, and on the Dark Tower side, we've done this is our sixth annual bracket. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So over here on the Dark Tower side, up on the top left side, where we had on the second round, we had Jake Chambers facing off with Allie. That one came down to actually a tighter race than I would have suspected, 68% to 32%. So not nearly as heavy of a victory for Jake as I would have suspected, maybe. Jake advances to the final four. And then down in the next section down here, we got Eldred Jonas getting bested by Roland just as handily as he did in the book. We have 78% to 22% for Eldred Jonas. So Roland moves on. And then over here on the other side, let me just double check the other poll. We have our most resounding victory once again. I believe last round, Susan Delgado took the heaviest victory with the 94% over Susanna Dean. And now she's taken the heaviest victory in this round with a 90% win over 10% Father Callahan. So Susan is she's chugging along, seeming like she might be the unbeatable one here. And then a huge upset down here on the bottom right hand side. We got Gabrielle Deshane actually upsetting Eddie Dean. Because generally speaking, the further out they are to the corners. Like Eddie wasn't a top four seed, but he was the next four. So he's certainly, there's certainly, as you kind of are at the bottom, or the very top or the very bottom, and as you work your way in, you get kind of weaker and weaker when it comes to how we do this. I kind of do it like clockwise from like the top left and around, and I just kind of circle until whatever. So yeah, generally speaking, the ones in the middle are going to be the weaker candidates. But no, Gabrielle Deshane with an upset of 69% to 31% for Eddie Dean. So no upsets for Eddie like a number of years ago when we did most beloved Dark Tower characters. Eddie Dean ended up in the finals facing off with Oi the Brave and actually won. Back in those days, we had a little bit more of a thing that I can see. I can't see it nowadays, but back then I was able to see the votes, and I do know that Eddie Dean beat Oi by a single vote. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the non-Dark Tower side, the Stephen King side, where we are crowning our most beloved character. So up on the top left-hand side, John Coffey was facing off against Daniel Torrance, whether that's Danny or Dan, either way. And that one came out to a pretty tight victory as well, 64 to 36. I guess we haven't really seen any really, really tight. Like I don't remember if we saw any in the last round where it was. No, I guess we did. Jake Chambers versus Shimi Reeves was 54 to 46. Okay, so that's probably that was one of the tightest. But it seems like most of the ones we've been seeing this year on both brackets have been generally a little bit more decisive victories, except for that Shimi putting up a pretty good challenge for Jake. So John Coffey 64% to Daniel Torrance is 36%. So John Coffey moves on to the final four. Down on the bottom left-hand side, Richie Tozier upset Holly Gibney pretty decisively in round one, and now he is going up against Gordy LaChance, which actually kind of, I think, pulled a slight upset. I think both Peter and I thought that Gordy might lose to Tom Cullen, but Gordy's Cinderella story is defeated here as Gordy loses pretty resoundingly 78% to 22% to Richie Tozier. So we got John Coffey and Richie Tozier moving on to the final four. Over on the other side, Beverly Marsh taking a pretty handy victory here, 82% over the 18% for Nick Andros. So Beverly moving on, and we have now lost our last stand character. And then coming down on the right hand side, we have Ben Hanscom losing handily, actually. So Sadie with the Cinderella story continuing. Ben Hanscom getting 29% to Sadie Dunhill 71%. Sadie upset Jack Sawyer, which was a higher seed than her. And then from there, I mean, we debated it on the last episode where, man, is Sadie kind of the Cinderella story? Well, it seems like she might be because she just took a handy victory here, but now is her biggest challenge going up against Beverly Marsh here in this newest round. So let me just go back because I forgot to do that on the Dark Tower side. Looking at the final four now. I guess I can flip back. I should have done that when I was on the Dark Tower side without flipping over. But now, so our final four then is Jake Chambers versus Roland Deschain. That is a woof. That is a matchup and a half. And then on the other side of the final four, we've got Susan Delgado and Gabrielle Deschain. So we basically have Roland, his son, for all intents and purposes. And then on the other side, we have the two women in Roland's life. We have Susan Delgado and Gabrielle Deschain. So that is quite a picturesque final four for sure. So go get your votes in. I'll pull up the schedule here in just a second. And then on the Stephen King side, as I kind of alluded to, we've got John Coffey facing off against Richie Tozier in the final four on the left side. And on the right side, we've got the two ladies, Beverly Marsh, facing off with the Cinderella story of Sadie Dunhill. So, yeah, that is what we are looking at for our. Oh, I guess I didn't flip my screen over. There we go. So John Coffey versus Richie Tozier, and then the ladies on the other side, Beverly Marsh versus Sadie Dunhill. That is our final four. So that is that. Let me jump on over here. So we are currently in our final four. So it is the 17th today. Let's go get your votes out, and then vote until the 24th. On the 25th, which I actually haven't looked at the calendar yet. The 25th is next Wednesday. You have until a week from today to go get your vote in for the 24th. On the 25th, look for another video where we will recap this final four, as well as show who our last two standing in both polls are. And then from there, you have till the 31st to vote. And then there will be a video on April 1st where we'll recap the entire thing. So just keep your eyes tuned over here to darktowerpalaver.com. Of course, go get your vote in at at the youtube.com/darktowerpalaver. Keep tuned here, because this is where your shorts will be to kind of show you what's going on. And of course, go over to darktowerpalaver.com/marchinsanity to get your vote in. Go vote on both polls. Help us crown the most tragic Dark Tower character and the most beloved Stephen King character. Of course, that is negating all Dark Tower, because we did that poll. God, the second year of this poll was the most beloved. Eddie Dean won that. So, yeah, we got Patrick Hockstetter, the most hated Stephen King character. And now let's see who is, of the final four here, is going to end up the most beloved, to kind of be the antithesis of good old Patrick Hockstetter. All right, so that's it. I'll see you guys in a week and a day for the next recap video. Go get your vote in, and I'll sign off as I always do by saying long days and pleasant nights.